number of years ago, my staff undertook the responsibilities of administering administrative court for the city of Springfield. And my staff and I, on a rotating basis, acted as the court clerk in those proceedings. And as I went through the process month after month, it became very clear to me that there was a big disconnect, and we need to fix it. So what you have in front of you is actually a PowerPoint, but I did not bring a projector and all that with me today, but what you have in front of you is the paper document. And as it states here, the problem is that our current process of administering administrative court, which is a function of my office, it's a paper-driven process with no communication going on between departments. And so I've identified this as the problem. The challenges that we face are that the current system requires data entry into either an Excel or a Word document. And then that information really doesn't go anywhere. And to give you an example, let's just say, for argument's sake, that Bernie Schoenberg is stopped and ticketed by one of our Springfield police officers for any number of ordinance violations that are currently on the books. He is going to receive an ordinance violation ticket on paper. And that information is then going to be brought back to our records division in the Springfield Police Department, and that information is keyed in. And after that, unfortunately, that information doesn't go anywhere. That's a problem, because not only does the legal department, the clerk's office, and the treasurer's office require the same information, we don't have access to it, and that's a problem. And so that has been the focus of my plan, and it's not a plan that I came up with a couple of weeks ago. I have been actively working on this plan for over a year. So I want to, if I could, just go through this with you. As I stated, it's a paper-driven process, and a lot of time is wasted by not only our clerical staff in various departments, but also our professional staff. And there is no accountability or transparency in this process because there's no way to track these ordinance violations. So I have come up with a solution to this problem, and that is to procure and implement an electronic workflow program over City Hall. And this instance that I am providing to you, this administrative court instance, it's just one facet of what an electronic workflow program will allow us to do. But again, going back to administrative court, because it touches so many offices at City Hall, that was the focus, and that's what I wanted to help make all of you understand today. If we are successful in getting this electronic workflow process in place, administrative court could realistically become a paperless, almost to the end point, a paperless process within these departments at City Hall.
What's the cost?
Well, the cost roughly is around $150,000 if we utilize or if we implement all phases of what's available to us. Yes, I've researched this extensively over the past year, and but again, as it relates to this process, to this administrative court process, putting this type of electronic infrastructure over City Hall will allow us to become more efficient and draw that same efficiency or draw attention to the efficiencies we can gain and the transparency that we can provide.
City Hall as a whole, I think the taxpayers will attest that they feel they're pretty frustrated with a lot of what's going on, and I think this election is about two things. It's about leadership, and it's about being able to bring ideas into fruition. From a record standpoint, exactly what we're talking about today is what I did in the private sector for 5 years. We brought new technology and new ideas into a business market that had two previous companies had failed, and we succeeded. And what was my record? We identified our target market within TruePay with zero business. And within 5 years, we captured 70% of our targeted market, not 70% of the businesses, but our targeted preferred client list in 5 years without losing one client for customer service related issues. Two previous companies couldn't even pay taxes accurately. We came in the business and we did it. We did it better. We did it on word of mouth. And we're very proud of what our ability to do that in the private sector was. Again, as one of the things you'll see in this plan is the ability to go in, and it was part of actually Ms. Tumulty's plan back in 2003, and that was to automate interaction between citizens and business licensing. So you can apply online and not have to leave your home to come down and get a peddler's license. It's really tough to do liquor and tax, so you'll notice on there I don't have that as part of the plan, simply because you've got the fingerprinting process that has to, you've got to be in person for that to happen. So I think as you look at taking that, do I have a record of taking new ideas, putting them into place, and make sure they work and do it right the first time? Absolutely. And that's what I want to bring to City Hall. Also, I can come up with $150,000. If you go back over the last 8 years and use the same numbers moving forward for the next 8 years, the fact that I will not take a pay raise alone would be, with a run rate over those 8 years. 8 years ago, the office was barely over $60,000. Now it's $85,000. You roll that out over 8 years, you've got a significant amount of money. And the reason that I've said that, and the reason I said I won't take pension, is simply it goes back to a leadership issue. Right now, there's a distrust, I think, out in the public, especially from the people that I talk to, from the people that they elect to office, and they're looking for someone to help restore a little bit of trust in public service. And I feel by not taking a pension and saying I won't take a pay raise, it lets people know that I'm here to bring my experiences and my best practices in the private sector to the city clerk's office, serve with no other agenda other than to serve the public, and move on and go back to the private sector when I'm done, and leave the office in a better position than it was when I got there. And with no pension, no pay increases, I feel that that's a great, it goes above and beyond, but I think voters want that right now, to be assured that they can trust that their elected officials are there to serve and serve them first.